the games you've never heard of. Not quite the Beijing Olympics.
The proud team from New Zealand.
There's no drug testing. And many of these athletes are only alive because someone died and gave them a second chance at life. These are the World Transplant Games.
Come on, New Zealand!
The youngest Kiwi here is Jayton Tairua, a medal hopeful at the 10-pin bowling. At 10 years old, he's a long way from Dargaville and the liver condition which nearly killed him as a toddler. Jayton was born with a rare liver disease. It was hardening and his mum Priscilla discovered he needed a new one and quick.
They told us that it looks like he definitely needs a liver transplant, and that's when they also told us that would have to go to Brisbane to have that done. They weren't doing it in New Zealand. If he didn't go, he would have died eventually, yeah.
And how are you? Are you good?
So Priscilla and her parents packed up and crossed the ditch and the wait began.
Jayton, hello. Not feeling well this morning, eh?
Time wasn't on their side. Jayton's liver was dying and he was going downhill with it. He was constantly jaundiced and his tummy was so bloated the 2-year-old couldn't balance properly. Eventually he couldn't eat or drink and was on blood transfusions every 3 days.
It started to become like just a dream, that it wasn't really going to happen, sort of like the odds of winning lotto.
Around them, there were others in the same boat.
We watched other kids die over there. We watched a Japanese father with his son. They waited and waited and one just never came. It was too late. So they died, the little boy died waiting.
But after 6 long months, the call they'd prayed for finally came.
I heard her voice. It was a transplant coordinator saying, "Hi, Scylla, it's Kerry. We think we've got a liver for Jayton." Everything else she said after that, it was just a blur. I can't remember what she said. I just remember dropping the cell phone and
The sick little boy was about to get a new liver, or so they thought.
they decided to drop a bombshell on us, and that's when they came out and they said there's a small possibility that this donor could be HIV positive. They said there's no way of testing the donor. It has to be done after the transplant. So they gave me less than 30 minutes, I think, to make a decision on whether I'd go ahead with the transplant or not. I think that's when I started crying.
Jayton will remember you forever.
A few minutes later, one of Jayton's doctors let it slip that without the new liver, he'd be lucky to live past a month. That was all Priscilla needed. The operation was going ahead.
Come on. Come on, mate.
Oh, Jayton's first experience in splashing in mud.
Smiling at last, the HIV tests were clear. Jayton had a whole life ahead of him. 8 years on, he's back in Queensland with his nana and pop for the games, and he's trained for months.
So just watch the ball. Good.
There's been one-on-one table tennis coaching at Whangarei.
Get your stance correct, let the ball swing and follow through.
And Baz has been teaching him the tricks to a good 10-pin bowl. It's just paid for itself. At the games, he scores a silver in the bowling. And in the table tennis...
From New Zealand, Jayton Tairua.
He snatches the gold off the Aussies. An hour mile down the road, Jane Towers is gearing up for the 50-metre butterfly. The Wanganui mum's cleaning up in the pool.
Go Kiwi!
She's got 4 golds, a silver and a new heart. Like everyone here, she's got a story that makes you realise you never know what's around the corner.
You know, I've actually been given a second chance of life. Let's get on with it.
At 29, she was your average Kiwi woman, married to her childhood sweetheart, Pat. Mum to 2-year-old Hayden, and baby girl Georgia was 3 months old. And then it happened.
I was lying on the couch and I just remember looking at the TV and not being able to talk. So I thought it was a bit strange, and I was trying to say to Pat that I wasn't able to speak to him.
She came right after 5 minutes and was admitted to hospital for tests. She was still there a week later when it happened again.
Something was happening, I didn't know what it was, but my body felt really strange. And I had the buzzer in my hand to ring the nurses, but I thought I'd just feed Georgia as much as possible before I actually thought of ringing them. So in the end I rang the bell and they came and realised that I'd had a stroke.
A stroke, and Jane wasn't even 30. She'd always been fit. Now she couldn't even speak all right, but there was worse to come.
I realised it was my heart that was faltering. It was enlarged and it was pooling. It was my heart was leaking.
Jane's heart had caused the stroke, and though her speech was slowly returning, she was soon told she needed a heart transplant or she'd be dead by Christmas.
I thought, how on earth, you know, I'd lived a good life. Why on earth has this happened to me?
We'd gone from being normal mum, dad and 2 kids to now me possibly having to raise the 2 kids by myself, unknowing, not knowing what's going to happen to Jane, what the future's going to hold.
But less than a month later, one family's loss became this family's lifeline. An Auckland woman had died and her heart was being donated. Jane was about to have a major operation.
I was quite calm actually, because I sort of figured that if I was going to die it would be in surgery and I wouldn't know anything about it, so I felt quite calm.
Oh, Georgie. Oh, nice, Georgie.
Six years on, the new heart has just won her a swag of medals, and she's come home from the Games with a fresh look at what she's been through.
People have said to me in town, oh, you know, you've got an amazing story and, oh, you've had a heart transplant, this is what you can do. But I didn't really think that it's just been my life. You know, that's what's happened to me. But coming back from the Games, I realised that actually this is actually quite a big thing that I've actually had to go through.
Oh, you made it! It's terrible, hey. It's solid.
Jane doesn't know what her life expectancy is, but she's making the most of it. At 35, her priorities are far different to what they used to be.
See you. Bye.
We travel and we love doing stuff with the kids, taking them away. And, you know, possibly some would say let's pay the mortgage off and do that, but our outlook is perhaps a bit different to that. You know, I have got a shortened lifespan. And I just want to do as much with my kids and my husband and my family. Yeah.
Back in Dargaville, Jayton and his medals are the talk of the school.
This was a cool experience because for the first time in 8 years I was able to meet children my own age with the same thing as me.
And the only sign of what he went through as a youngster are the scars he's grown up with.
Do you want to show me your scar?
Okay.
Yeah. And so, which one is...
The one that goes down is my calf sites before I had my transplant, and the Mercedes-Benz is my real transplant.
The only thing Priscilla was ever told about Jayton's donor was that he was an adult male.
I've run it through my head so many times what I'd say to the donor family. and still yet to this day, 8 years later, I just don't even know what I'd say. You're really thankful. How do you express to a family that's lost someone they love, thanks that your family members died? I'd probably let Jayton do the talking because he's living proof himself that it's gone to a good boy and he's doing well.